Boy, oh boy, is my shirt wrinkly. And boy, oh boy, is that not going to matter in a minute because I'm going to sweat so much reading these gosh darn stories that I'll be steaming my shirt through my body. Anyway, today we are looking at AITA, otherwise known as Am I the A-hole? Starting with AITA for not making my girlfriend feel included in a family emergency. Using a throwaway because my girlfriend knows my main account, yesterday, just before lunch, my mom texted me and told me that my grandfather had been taken to the hospital. This morning I found out he's going to be okay. He fell and he had a mini stroke. They're monitoring, but he'll probably be released in a few days. Anyway, my girlfriend and I both work from home. Every day at lunch, we call each other and go for a walk around our respective neighborhoods. When she called, I told her what happened, and all that I knew was that he was in the hospital. Didn't know much more than that. I was obviously upset because I didn't know how serious it was. After me telling her and asking if that's all I knew, her response kind of caught me off guard. She didn't ask if I was okay or how I was feeling. Her main concern was that nobody from my family texted her to let her know. We've been seeing each other for about a year and a half, and I know she's struggled quite a bit with trauma from her childhood. My family have been very welcoming of her and have had a good relationship with her. I reassured her that nobody's angry with her. They just texted me because they're at the hospital and don't really have much time. I know she struggles a lot with abandonment and feeling rejected. I feel like as much as I support her through her struggles, the moment I needed support from her, it's still all about her feelings. That stinks, huh? Doesn't it? But then I feel selfish for feeling that because I know how upset she was for feeling left out. After work, she came over to my place and I cooked dinner for us. She was still upset about not being told about my grandfather, so she asked me to text my mom to say to keep us posted. I guess because I was both physically and emotionally exhausted from all of this, I texted keep me posted instead of us. And now she's very angry at me because I didn't include her in the text, and she's angry that it now looks like she doesn't care about my grandfather. Okay, all right. I think you're a little worried about the optics of this. You know, you're too worried about the optics. All right, this is more about like somebody's life is kind of teetering between good and bad health, and that should be the main concern, not whether or not you're in the loop or you're focusing on the wrong things here. You're tracking the wrong details, and I've been guilty of that time and time again. I know my family knows she cares, but she seems more concerned about the optics of her concern than actually being concerned about my grandfather. I guess I'm just feeling confused about the whole thing. It does seem a little like she's got her priorities a little mixed up, or maybe that's how she's misdirecting her feelings about the thing. She only knows how to bring it into herself, but either way, it's like, you focus on the wrong stuff. What are you going to do? We can only take you at face value when you say these things, right? It doesn't seem like you're concerned about Grandpa. The reason I might be the asshole is because I didn't include her in the text to keep us posted, and it further makes her seem like she doesn't care about my grandpa. Does it? Does it make her seem that way? Also, I might be selfish and feeling angry that I've been there for her and can't count on her for support. See, that right there, that is something that's real, right? It's like, hey man, I'm really, my grandfather's sick. And they're like, how come I wasn't told about this? What about me? It's like, what's this, huh? Kind of a weird behavior you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? To clarify, we don't live in the same city as my family. We live about 2.5 hours away. Interesting. I mean, it's an easy fix if we're going to say this. Just loop her in and then see where it goes from there. Just throwing together a quick group chat and be like, hey, all updates here would be helpful. It's a simple fix. So I'm wondering why you didn't, preventatively kind of, loop her in the future. If she actually is concerned, that's something to think about. Maybe she's a nurse or something. Maybe she has a job. Oh no, you both work from home. Maybe she does something slightly medical related and so she wants to feel like she has eyes on it. I don't know. It is an easy fix. Are you an a-hole? No. You guys did what you did. You did exactly what you did with the sense of urgency that you did it, and that's how it goes, right? It's like immediate family first in hospitals, triage rules or whatever. I don't know what triage means. Anyway, let's read the comments. In TA, she's making your grandfather's emergency all about her. This is insane behavior. It is so self-centered. This is a pretty big red flag. You should treat it as such. Expecting your family to think about texting some girlfriend, even if they love her, about an ongoing family emergency is so effing egotistical. I can't even convey my disgust in this post. You don't live together. You aren't engaged. She's way out of line. You don't live together. I thought they did live together. My girlfriend and I both work from home. Oh, our respective neighborhoods. I see. No, yeah, she's being really weird. I mean, she was already, but now I'm like, oh God, you don't even live together? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is wild. Yeah, get out of there. The reply to that says, exactly. I grew up in a very traumatizing situation. When my mother-in-law was in surgery, I was not called. My husband was. Obviously, I didn't give a crap. Instead, I left her a nice text message wishing her a speedy recovery and letting her know that I'm thinking of her. That way, once she gets around to looking, she can see a nice message waiting for her. I never thought my behavior was anything but standard and expected. I still think I did the bare minimum for acceptable behavior. To act so overwhelmingly selfish and then blame your trauma for it is just gross. Not the a-hole op, but your girlfriend is definitely The a-hole. Okay, yeah. See, if you notice that somebody is taking something traumatic that's going on and make it, what about me and my experience? It's like you're acting really weird, really self-centered, and super surprised microphone. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know that was there, did you? This comment here says, she was still upset she hadn't been told about my grandfather. Really? She's not upset about the emergency, the health scare, what grandpa's recovery might be? Just that she wasn't told? Selfish. NTA hole, don't entertain this. Yeah, you got to be careful with who you cross-pollinate with. You gotta be careful about that. Because that's wasted energy, trying to kind of satiate the concerns of your partner when you should be focused on your grandfather and how to be there for him in this tough time. He fell. He had a mini stroke. So, nope, she's the butt. Moving on. AITA for letting my daughter stay with me and my wife after she found out that her mom lied to her. My ex and I have a 12-year-old daughter, Olivia, with autism level 2. Sounds like I'm going to need a little bit more context on that. All right, level 2 autism requiring substantial support. So we got deficits in verbal and nonverbal social communication skills, inflexibility of behavior, difficulty coping with change, restricted repetitive behaviors appear frequently and interfere with functioning. Okay, so it's middle. So level 1 autism is requiring support. Level 2 is requiring substantial, and level 3 is requiring very substantial. So now I know. I did not know that before, and now you know that too if you hadn't. My ex has primary custody, and I have Olivia on Wednesdays and every other weekend. A few months ago, my ex told me she was feeling a little burnt out, so she wanted us to keep Olivia from Wednesday to Sunday so she could go on a trip with some friends. Olivia is very attached to her mom, so my ex told Olivia that it was a work trip and she had to go. Last week, one of my ex's friends was at the house with my ex and Olivia, and their vacation somehow came up. Olivia figured out that the vacation was the work trip that her mom told her about and freaked out because her mom lied to her, and her mom doesn't lie. She hid in her room for the rest of the day and then called me and asked me to come get her. She's been with us ever since. She's really upset about this. She cries all the time because she wants her mom, but she doesn't know what else her mom lied about, and she doesn't trust her. Apparently, Olivia's aide called my ex because she's been having a hard time in school, so now my ex-wife is demanding that I send Olivia home so they can get back to her routines and start working with her therapist to help get her over this, but I told her Olivia will go back when she's ready. Now she's threatening to call the police and or take me back to court over custodial interference, even though we've always had a very friendly co-parenting relationship. My wife thinks we should send her back to avoid drama, but I think it should be Olivia's choice. No. First of all, because Olivia's 12, and second of all, because she has autism level 2 and she has support and therapists over there that can help get her through this troubling period. AITA for refusing to send her back after she found out her mom lied to her. Yeah, send her back. Your wife wants this. Your current wife wants this. Your ex wants this. There's a therapist over there who's trained to work with your daughter, and your aide is saying that she's not doing well in school. Send her back. She needs to get into her routines. We just observed that level 2 autism, difficulty coping with change, repetitive behavior, you need routine. Yeah, send her back, dude. If you alienate her from her mother right now, she's going to have more distance from her mother. And so during this stressful period, you want to expose her to the mom so the mom can iron out the details, in this particular instance. And also, it was her time anyway. She asked you to do a favor, something went wrong, and now she wants her back. And that's it. She has primary custody. So it's, yeah, you're being a bit of a dick here. Let's see what the comments say. Yes, you're the a-hole. You're blowing it way out of proportion, and you need to let her mom talk to her and resolve the issue. Right. And from a legal standpoint, no, you can't withhold her daughter from her for literally months. I'm actually appalled you think you have a good co-parenting relationship, yet this is how you deal with the problem, and you think that benefits your daughter. For months? The vacation was months ago, but the daughter only just found out about it last week, so the kid has been with Op for a week or so. Okay, got it. But I agree that Op can't legally keep the daughter from the mom. Yeah. This one here is from a person with autism. They say, you're the a-hole, I'm autistic, and so is my kid. Both of us would find this kind of lie upsetting, but it needs to be dealt with, and you refusing to send her home is making it worse. You went along with the lie as well. You have always had a good co-parenting relationship up until this point, so don't F it up now. Have your ex over to your home and present a united front. Mom shouldn't have lied about why she was going away, and I shouldn't have gone along with it. We're sorry sometimes grown-ups screw up. We need to get back to our normal routine now, so you're going home with mom. Yeah, easy. That's it, right? Get back into the routine, get back into presenting a unified front here, I think is one of the more important pieces of information. Like, I think that's mission critical, right? This is what sticks it to me. The dad and stepmom must have also lied, even if it was a lie of omission, in order for the daughter to really believe that the mom was on a business trip. So, you're not, it's not mom is, it feels like you're trying to be like, Olivia will return when she's ready. It presents an idea of like mom is now an other, you know what I mean? And like, you're like punishing the mom. Hey, don't do that. You don't need to do all that. All right. This bolded comment here says, crucially, keeping her is violating your custody agreement. Don't blow up your co-parenting relationship over this. Yeah, you might be messing it up, dog. You're weaponizing your daughter's neurodivergence against her mother, and you're damaging her mother with the shrapnel. Stop and think, even your wife thinks you should send Olivia back. If even she thinks you are wrong, you should already know what you're doing makes you the a-hole. Done. That's it. Yeah. You gotta move on, man. All right, next story. AITA for showing my kids the bills. My 48-year-old female friend, 45-year-old female, have kids around the same age, 2 teenagers each. Last time I spoke to her, it was before a party we were both going to that she said her daughter was probably going to make her late to because she was taking a long time in the shower. I hated that sentence. I hated that. I tried. Oh my God, I hated that sentence. No commas. I can't handle sentences like that. But okay, daughter was going to make her late, taking a long time in the shower. They're both going to a party. I told her that my kids used to take showers too until we started showing them the water bill, and at least one of them started taking shorter showers so it wouldn't cost as much. Personally, I don't see showing them as a bad thing because sometimes they do need to see how much they're costing us as parents. Well, if they're both teenagers and let's say they're working their first job and they make $7.25 an hour, like, yeah, a $14 addition to the bill is like, whoa, that's 2 hours of my young life. Maybe I'll cut it short. My friend responded that I was making them anxious. I thought that was a bit of a leap, as I talk a lot about how much their clothes, foods, and other wants cost openly. And me and my husband make a pretty good living too. So we started debating about it for a bit until we dropped it. This has been lingering on my mind for a bit, so posting to see if I'm the a-hole. I think it depends on how you're bringing it up. Like, if you are sort of weighing heavily the burden of your debts on your children and really like, it depends on how you're making them feel about it. If it's you're presenting them awareness, like, hey, just so you know, we're trying to save money, and I think it'd be great if you cut back a little bit on the showers. This is where we're currently at. If you cut them back to 10 minutes, we think we could get around here, and I think that'd be good. That'd be good for everybody, and then maybe we can go to a fancy dinner or something, one of these days or something. I don't know. But I think showing responsible budgeting is a good idea. My mom and I had several conversations when I was growing up. She gave me a book called Automatic Millionaire when I was young, and that helped kind of shape my interpretation of money. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's never been exposed to me, though, before my parents' bills. Like, that's never been shown to me, per se. But we've had conversations about money. And we've had conversations about, it's not like I could point to anything I wanted at the grocery store. They'd get it. They'd be like, no, we're not getting that, Like, because, dude, I could eat freaking Cocoa Krispies all day long, 24/7, 365. You understand? I think talking about money is fine. About budgeting is smart. Like, give your kids those tools because, dude, once you turn 18, it just happens to you. Like, as soon as you leave the nest, you go to college, it's like, oh, laundry is $6, all in. Laundry is expensive as hell now. And I got to figure out how to get quarters and how to do all that. Like, training these kids young on budget and keeping a appreciation for the dollar is totally appropriate, I think. Let's see what the comments say. NTA, kids need to learn the value of money. They need to learn how to budget. They need to become self-sufficient adults, but they also need love and kindness. So as long as your delivery was kind and to educate, you're all good. This is exactly how I feel. I'm so reassured that I'm not having a bad take on this. This is the answer. Especially teens, need to be educated about finances so they'll know how to function when they grow up. It's that simple. A lot of times the school systems are really weird. Like, I think I learned about simple taxes and stuff when I was, I don't know, maybe I was in 3rd grade or something. Like, they'll teach you that stuff in 3rd grade. They'll be like, okay, they got it, done. Kids know that it's 7% sales tax. All right, good. They know it now. No, I think every senior year in high school student, every freaking senior needs to have, like, not an economics class, but like a real legitimate, like, this is what it's like to be an adult class. Like, this is your budgeting. This is what you really need to know. And that'll set kids up for success. And I don't know why the government doesn't mandate that we have that type of course. It's like an adult math course, budgeting, how to find a place to live, how to get a job, get a CV together. High school sucks, dude. It's not only about money. Don't forget overconsumption and wasting resources. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should consume more. This comment here says, I'm not sure, to be honest. As a kid, you might feel like a burden to your parents, so seeing the bill might have worsened their self-esteem, but it can also teach them the value of money. I think really it is the wording, and this reply here says, I think it depends on the wording. If it's, look how much you're costing me, if I didn't have you, I could afford nice stuff, that's bad, obviously. But you can also phrase it in terms of our household has a certain amount of money available, so let's talk about how we can budget it so that we can afford things we would like to have. And then the reply to that says, yeah, but with kids, especially teens, they'll be able to internalize anything despite reasoning. Don't undercut certain people. I think maybe, get a good read on what your children are like and what they're able to understand. And you don't need to, I think this is one of those things where you gotta, it's not a one size fits all. If you have somebody really struggling with self-esteem and you go, hey, let's be careful about showering too long. They might not shower for 3 days at a time, and then they'll be stinky, and they'll be known as stinky boy in school 24/7. Next story. AITA for asking my girlfriend's brother what kind of a man he is. My 34 male girlfriend Laura, 30 female, and I got into a huge argument because of something I said to her younger brother Randall, 22 male. For context, Randall lives with their sister Anna, 29 female. Anna had a big grocery haul today and her van recently kicked the bucket, so Laura and I offered to take her. We drove her to the store, helped with the shopping, and loaded everything into my car. On the drive back, Randall texted Anna asking if she could pick them up some takeout on him. Anna agreed, so we made an extra stop to get their food. The plan was, when we got to their apartment building, Randall would come down the lobby and help us bring up all the groceries and his takeout. This was agreed upon when we went to get the takeout because the parking is a pain and it's a lot to carry alone. We pull up, text him, and then call him. No answer. We call again. Nothing. We parked the car properly, which meant Anna, Laura, and I had to make multiple trips from the parking lot to the lobby and then up to the apartment, lugging all the groceries and the takeout. I'm the first to get to the door with my hands full with a box and 2 bags. I'm able to knock, and he unlocks the deadbolt without opening the door. This really pissed me off. What? I opened the door for all of us and set the box and bags down. I then asked him what happened, and he just shrugged and said, oh, my phone was on silent, sorry. This is the second time he's pulled this exact same crap. Last time I gave him a sarcastic response about it, like, how convenient that you couldn't hear the phone glued to your hand, when he gave us the same lame excuse. But this time I was fed up. I was tired from carrying everything, and I was annoyed for Anna and Laura, who just accept this from him. I looked at him and said, seriously, Randall, what kind of man sits on his ass while his sister and everyone else carries his responsibilities for him? Randall didn't say anything and just left the room. Laura immediately shot me a death glare. After we left the apartment and were back in the car, she laid into me. She said I am out of line, that it wasn't my place to talk to her brother like that, and that my comment was toxic and emasculating. We argued the whole way home. I told her that she and her family coddle him too much and that he's never going to learn if no one holds him accountable. When we got home and we'd both cooled down a bit, I explained my side more calmly. I said that what he did was deeply disrespectful to her, Anna, who houses him, and to me. He knew we would end up doing the work if he ignored his phone, and he made that choice because he's lazy and there are never any consequences. Laura was able to see my point of view on this one, at least that's what she tells me. I started thinking though, AITA here, was I the asshole for saying what I said, or was it a justified call out for his disrespectful behavior? What I will say is that this kind of deeply depends a little bit because, dude, I don't care who you are. If you're not related to me or my family and you say something like that to my brother, my sister, I'm gonna be like, watch your mouth a little bit. I know. But there's a little bit of that, like, yeah, of course she's going to get protective. It's her younger brother, her 8 years younger brother. She was 16 when he was 8. She sees him as her younger brother. She's going to get defensive over it. So of course she's going to jump on you, right? Anna too. And so when you're entering a different family dynamic, depending on how well you know this kid, you're 12 years older than him. So that's also something to think about, right? But he's fresh out of college. I don't know. He is being coddled. I will say point blank, you got to be really careful about criticizing people's family members. If you're the boyfriend and you're sure it's true, but I think you have to kind of maybe talk to your girlfriend first about this, whether or not you can lay into her younger brother like that. That's my opinion, because like where I come from and like my family dynamic and my personal family is like, we're very protective and defensive, and that would cause a reaction from my family as well. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying internally we coddle people to be lazy or whatever, but get ready to get bit, dude. If you're gonna poke somebody's family member, no matter what they did, get ready to get bit. Just out of defensiveness. Again, she's 8 years older than a little brother. She pictures like that kid running down the hallway with an oversized t-shirt giving her a hug when she comes home from high school. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, you be careful. You pick your battles, right? You're justified. You're correct. And that he's being, a lazy POS a little bit, and he's using excuses to get out of work. That behavior does need to change, and you might have been the catalyst for that change, but the consequence of being the catalyst for that change, in my opinion, is that you're going to be seen a little bit like an a-hole from the family side. That doesn't mean it's unjustified. That kid's got to learn that lesson eventually. You're the one to teach it today. You're handing out lessons today. So I don't know. I think this one's more amorphous than not the a-hole. I think it's more of like, I think the ultimate question is it your place to do that? That's the ultimate question. I don't know how deeply you know them. I don't know the dynamic here, but let's see what the comments have to say. Had it been me, Randall's takeout would have been left sitting in the car and sitting and sitting and sitting. Yeah, I mean, that's a simple consequence. Maybe don't lay into him. Just be like, all right, yeah, if you want your food, it's in the car. That's simple, right? That's easy. It's not crushing his identity. It's like, you gotta get going. And wasn't some of the takeout Randall paid for going to be eaten by Anna? You were totally right for calling him out, by the way. Okay, somebody in the comments said wife, but no, it's girlfriend. This is his girlfriend. It's not his wife. If you're married, maybe that's a different family dynamic, right? But you're not married. He's so coddled, he didn't even bother to open the door. Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? That would piss me off too. I get where you're coming from. I do. I think maybe instead of attacking his identity and calling him lazy and stuff, I think it's more of a matter of like, come on, man, you're going to help us out. Come on, get up. We got more trips. Get up. You want your food, right? I'm gonna leave it in the car, I swear. There's a playful way to do it, and I hate that. I hate that you have to kind of do that, but if you're a boyfriend and he's not related to you yet, I'm telling you, bro, families, where I come from, you're defensive over your own family. It's just what happens, and it's true of multiple people. A lot of these Redditors are like, yeah, he deserved it, and he did. Don't get me wrong, he did, but that's gonna bite you in the ass, man, if you play with the wrong family. I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? My last name ain't Thrasher for nothing, all right? What kind of man equals harsh delivery, valid message? You said what everyone else was thinking. NTA, so he could use his phone to get takeout, but not to help you all with the grocery haul? I think you were far too kind, honestly, and if that comment was emasculating, well, maybe he should act as a decent human being. NTA and the replies are bothering me. Why should the burden of politeness or careful wording fall on the person reacting to bad behavior instead of on the person causing the problem? For me, it's because you are talking to your girlfriend's little brother. That's for me. He's not just some guy. So you're going to get a reaction from the older sisters. Of course you are. Of course you are. That's what it is. I think they're all missing this, it seems. I have 2 older sisters. I am a younger brother. My oldest sister is 10 years older than I am. I'm familiar with this dynamic. My oldest sister, Nicole, she will punch a man in the jaw. She's broken a jaw before. I don't know. I'm going to get roasted in the comments for this, and I understand. Let me say this, though. Is this guy an a-hole? No, he's not an a-hole. Let me be clear about that. This guy, Op, is not an a-hole. But I think him being surprised by the sisters' reactions is confusing because of course they're going to react defensively. But no, he's not an a-hole. The little brother sucks. Randall sucks. He's not helping at all. He unlocks the door, Of course, like he should be called out. It's just, is this your place right now as a boyfriend, not a husband, to address the little brother without running it by maybe the sisters first or something. Anyway, AITA for trying to set a boundary with my little sister after she opened my birthday present. 23 female, little sister 13. I live back and forth between my mom and dad's house. All of my siblings are half siblings on my dad's side. I love my little sister, but lately I've been getting annoyed about certain boundaries she crosses. She's obsessed with face cream, hand cream, body spray, perfume, and any hair products that smell good, lip gloss, balm, and she has a very big collection of all of these things. I once sat and counted how many lip stuff she has accumulated over the years, and I counted 37. Despite having tons of her own, she always asks to borrow mine and often ends up using the entire thing. One of my perfumes was almost completely used up because she would spray it at least 20 times every time she used it. Dude, I'm sensitive to smell, like really. Like perfumes and stuff, it has to be very faint or I will get tight and tense and my face will just kind of, do one of these things and that's awful. Awful. My guess initially is she's 13, you're 23, and she only wants to use the stuff she knows works. So if she sees her older sister using it, she has to use it now because it's like, oh, this is the one she uses, so it works. That's probably where that's coming from. Does it mean she's justified? No. Let's keep reading. She gets upset if I don't share my stuff with her. For example, I got a body mist from Bath & Body Works recently because I love the smell. I decided to leave it at my mom's house. My sister saw it in the background during a FaceTime and said, "Oh, that looks like it smells really good. Can you bring it the next time you come here?" And I jokingly said something along the lines of, "I think we've got more than enough perfumes at Dad's," and she was visibly upset. I'm quite a patient person, so I brush all of this off because she's my little sister, and that's just what siblings do, right? But this recent situation has really upset me, and I don't know if I'm overreacting or not. So, it was my birthday on a Tuesday. I went to my dad's to celebrate after work. When I sat down to open presents, I noticed that all of them were intact except one, of which the packaging had been ripped open and the contents removed. Weird. So I asked my little sister what happened, and she told me that it was one of my brother's gifts to me, a set that included hand cream, a nail file, a nail cuticle oil, and a little nail clipper, and she really wanted to try it and couldn't wait for me to open it, so she decided to go ahead and open it herself and try everything out. That's weird. That's a weird behavior. Something's off there. It's like a compulsion almost, I'll say. Half the hand cream had been squeezed out of the tube. The nail file was used because it had one of those telltale scratches on it. And the small nail/cuticle oil bottle wasn't closed properly, so it was also open. Dude, I got a 13-year-old niece. She knows better. Like, way better. Like, 13 is old enough, so something's going on here, something unusual. She might need to figure it out. I don't know. Let's see. I understand that in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a big deal, but it made me sad that she had just gone and opened my gift like that without even thinking to consult me first. I said to her verbatim, "You need to stop thinking all of my things are automatically yours too." Her mom taught her that everything that belongs to your siblings also belongs to you. Her philosophy, siblings share everything, so setting a boundary is very difficult. My sister got mad because I never share my things with her anymore and am purposefully leaving some of my stuff at my mom's place to avoid her using them. Her mom called me quite selfish for belittling my own sister for wanting to be closer to me by borrowing my things. Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole if I continued to be harsh about these boundaries? No, of course not. I mean, because she's going to grow up, she's going to have roommates, right? Eventually, she's 13 now, but she needs to be taught this stuff, because if she becomes roommates, she starts eating her roommate's food, she's gonna get slapped in the face. Okay, something's gonna happen. There's gonna be a violence done to her. All right, she eats the wrong dish. Yeah. Oh, she gonna be gone. Nah, she has to learn her lesson now. Where is your dad in all of this? Why isn't he parenting her? Get a lock for your door. She's lost all privileges in your room, lost access to any of your stuff, and she should be grounded. Her allowance should be going to you until she's paid for the birthday present she stole and ruined. Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's very odd. I've never heard of that before. That's like, keep an eye out. But that's pretty intrusive thought one. Like, I can't wait for you to open it. I have to try it. That's weird, right? Little odd. Keep an eye on that. This behavior is completely unacceptable. Your dad and his wife are doing her a massive disservice by not setting clear and enforced rules of behavior. They're also treating you horribly. This was your present, not hers. She stole it. None of her behavior is okay. They also haven't taught her that 20 sprays of perfume is assault on anyone with a sense of smell. Dude, I was at the gym. I think I've said this before, but I need to say it again because it bears repeating. I was on a treadmill and an ocean of highly fragrant, like spicy smell, like a cinnamony kind of like a harsh perfume in my nose. And I was like, oh, God. I looked to my left and this woman who's like fully dolled up, mid-30s or something. I just was on the treadmill next to me, and I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Why? We're at a gym. We're at a gym. Why are you wearing perfume? Wear deodorant. Yes, please wear deodorant. You're wearing full perfume? I'm trying to not choke going up a 6 incline at a 3.2 for half an hour. I'm trying not to die already. And you're introducing a new challenger, bro? You think this is Super Mario? No! NTA 13 is far too old to be behaving this way. Yeah, I had to check to verify that we're talking about a 13-year-old, not a 4-year-old. Yeah, a big thing here is like you got to be careful, because if the parent is encouraging her behavior, it doesn't really matter what boundaries you set, because I doubt she'll listen. Yeah, hey, parents out there, new parents, hey, don't let this happen. Don't do this. NTA, that poor little girl is going to have an awful awakening someday, hopefully before college. I had a college roommate like her, and it was hell. Then it got loud, as in we all put her in her place loudly and right away. Wasn't pretty, and she shed a lot of tears. Sometimes you got to learn that, dude. You got to learn. It's going to teach you one way or another. Parents, it is your job to teach these kids these things before they go out into the world. You can't coddle them 24/7. You can't have a frictionless parenting experience. You're going to have to instill in them values and boundaries and understanding that they are not the center of the world, that they have to wait, they have to be patient, they have to respect others. All these things are super important. A lot of dirt in here. All right, that about wraps it up for this one. Thanks so much, outro.